Hello, welcome back to our second portion of our PBIS Prezi. This section focuses on PBIS as a framework. So PBS is a framework, and we have customized the framework to meet the needs of our students at West Education Center. In the PBIS framework, we use evidence-based interventions to achieve academically and behaviorally important outcomes for all students. This framework is how we have created the Bulldog Way. The principles that guide us in our outcomes is continuously changing, and we are continuously working on it and looking at our data and discussing ways to prevent behavior and how we can teach students the expected behaviors. So first and foremost is we always look at data, and everybody at West Education is responsible for data. This data is collected on the iPads and in paper form. The information that we collect is very important because it guides our decisions throughout the building. The information can be used to help guide the culture at West Education, and the data is also used during IEP meetings, the individual education plans. We then look at the data and use research, validated practices to create interventions that we can use at West Education Center. Staff and sometimes students will then develop a lesson plan related to the behavior that we want to see changed or how we want our students to behave in the hallway, for example. As a team, we may also discuss ways that we can prevent certain situations from occurring. For example, if we know that there is an area in the building that is causing issues for students because too many students from different programs are being released at certain times, then we can prevent the issue by having groups dismissed at different times. Again, if we can prevent a situation from occurring by making simple changes, then that is where we will start. Then we will go back and look at the data to ensure that the plan is successful. Again, this process is always moving and rotating and looking at the data and seeing if the intervention is successful for our students. The research about PBIS tells us that it is best for kids. These are some of the examples of how the framework has positively affected students according to the prevention of youth research that has been conducted. So youth violence prevention, positive, predictable school-wide climate has a positive effect. High rates of academic and social success, formal social skills instruction, positive active supervision and reinforcement, positive adult role models, multi-component, multi-year school, family, community efforts are also ways of positively affecting students. RTI and PBIS are very similar. RTI has been introduced to the educational system within the last 5 to 6 years. It is a research-based intervention that is being used nationwide. PBIS is very similar to RTI in the fact that if you look at this circle, implementation with fidelity, it's evidence-based, you use prevention, you continuously monitor progress through the data, you use a screening process to ensure that students are making progress, in this case behavioral. In the case of RTI, they're focusing more on education. And at West Education Center, the staff here believe that if the classrooms are successful and students are learning, then our behaviors will drop. Again, this is the triangle. When we're thinking about the primary level, this green level here, we really think about preventive strategies. These strategies are typically effective for 80% of the population. Remember though that our triangle is flipped, and that our goal is that WEC can look a little more like this triangle where 80% of the students respond positively to the primary level, and that 15% respond to the secondary, this yellow area, where the students' needs needs just a little bit more support, like having individual behavioral contracts. And then if we again look at this red area zone or tertiary zone, is more individualized support for students, and our goal is in this zone will represent about 5% of our school. As stated before, at this time at WC, this zone represents 40% of our students. But in most schools, you'll see in the tertiary, it's 5%. But again, we're a level 4 EBD. So you're going to see within this tertiary, the functional based support, wraparound, personal support, crisis prevention and intervention strategies that you'll find in our students' behavior intervention plans. And that is just a quick view of what school-wide positive interventions and supports look like and the basis of it. The main thing that we would like you to remember is that this is a framework and we are continually changing it and looking at our data to help support our systems that we have in place at West Education Center.